So you got your confidence as a public defender. You liked it. You were very good at it. At what point did you go into civil litigation and personal injury or product liabilities? At what point in your career did you go into the civil litigation side?
I had met a public defender in Morris County. His name was Lou Stein. He was a very good lawyer, and he was about 6 or 7 years older than me.
Right.
And he already had a practice that was his practice, but he was also at the public defender's office, so he wasn't just building it from the day.
Right.
And he was looking for somebody, and it's always a big thing when you look for your first associate. And my boss at the public defender's office recommended me.
Right.
So I met with Lou. His office was out in Netcong, and we had a great rapport. I went to municipal court with him that night and everything, and he offered me a job. He said, you'll work 2.5 days a week, and it sounded great. And then I was enthusiastic. I just got married, and then I took my wife up to Netcong. And it was a little too rural for our taste. So I called Lou, and I said, sorry, but no thanks. Within a half an hour, I get a call from a law school classmate of his who had gone to NYU Law School with him, who was 10 years older than me, and he and another fellow he knew had just started a 2-person firm.
Right.
And one of them was an office lawyer, did transactional stuff, wills, corporations, represented the town of Springfield. And the other fellow named Sherwin Drobner was a trial lawyer. He did mainly personal injury, did some criminal. And he called me. Lou told him this, but he's more local. I got a job with, he interviewed me. He said, when can you start? And what's our arrangement? Because it's nervous for 2 guys who are new to hire an associate. So I said, I'm making $13,000 a year for the public defender. That's $50 a day, $250 a week.
Right.
So how about if I work for you for $50 a day, 2 days a week? And this began in October of 69. October of 69. And
good year.
Essentially, I made myself indispensable by January of 70. So I went to work full time, and I became a partner. It was a 3-person partnership.
Did you enjoy doing personal injury, civil litigation?
Yeah, it was a very general practice. Sherwin kind of let me on my own. He had a people practice, and I'd go to court. None of the cases were big. They're pretty much all the same.
Right.
Trying cases. I did some matrimonial. I did some minor zoning if people wanted to expand their deck or something like that. I had a will contest or 2. It's an interesting experience with Sherwin, who has long retired and moved on to other things from practice of law. He's 85 years old now. But I could tell stories about him. I don't know if Reader's Digest still has it. I hadn't read Reader's Digest in years. But they used to have a regular monthly column, the 5 most unforgettable people I ever met. And Sherwin Drobner would have been and still would be one of the most interesting people I ever met. It was an extraordinary experience with him.
What made him interesting?
Well, he was a very smart guy. His wife was a psychiatrist. And Sherwin kind of went against the grain. He was his own person, very interesting kind of guy. And a wide variety of people and contacts would come to him. His father-in-law was a doctor, would refer him patients. And he had a lot of moxie. I remember one case, and again, I'm so young and I'm so happy I'm doing stuff. I'm 27, 28 years old. We got a call one day.
Right.
We got a call one day from a woman. She had been a Catherine Dunham dancer. I don't know if you know what Catherine Dunham dancer? No. It was a group of African American dancers, one more attractive than the other, all for whatever reason, I don't know why, light-skinned. And now she was beset by arthritis and rheumatism. She could hardly move. But in any event, She had been married to somebody.
Right.
They never got divorced. And it turns out that he was apparently, and she hadn't seen him in years, apparently a big drug dealer, drug trafficker, based in Baltimore and Atlantic City. He was killed by some Confederates.
Right.
She got our name from one of Sherwin's law school classmates and called us.
Right.
And Sherwin and I went, and whatever was his, and he had no will, was going to be hers. He left a sailboat. He left a yacht. He left a Corvette. He left in an apartment he had where where the polo grounds used to be, things like this. And I wound up driving a Corvette, and it was all just very, very exciting. The kind of things that happened there. It was just.
So this is all going on in your life. I mean, it seems like one thing after the other is going well. I mean, did you have any disappointments earlier on in your career? It seems like everything was cozy. Everything was just going. Your enthusiasm seems like was triggering a lot of this. It seems like you were just so into it. You were happy-go-lucky in a way. Like you just couldn't believe that you have all this responsibility. You're a professional.
Yeah.
As my understanding, it's like one of the first professionals in your family, right?
I was the only professional in my family.
What is that like? Is that any different, or does that matter? Does that take its toll? Do you have pressure on you to make it as a professional if you're the only one?
I don't think so. For me, it was good because already, I was happy. I passed the bar and I was a lawyer. The only barometer I had was I had three cousins, three sisters who were older than me. The oldest one went to NYU Law School, and she married a professor named Bernard Schwartz. Bernard Schwartz was a brilliant guy. He wrote loads of books. He was very famous at NYU Law School.
Right.
And my cousin became my cousin Aileen, who was probably 15 years older than me, became a family court judge in New York. And Bernard Schwartz had very thick glasses, and he was very much like an academic kind of guy with not a big personality. So I was 3 months into law school in October of '66, and one of my younger cousins, once removed, was getting bar mitzvahed. And so I'm 3 months into law school, and Bern was always somebody who would come to the family. He'd be pointed to as the smart person in the family. So I'm 3 months into law school, and at the bar mitzvah, my father says, "Go talk law to Bern. Go talk law." And it was
Go talk law to his law professor.
Yeah. But he was a
heavyweight. Sounds like
he was a heavyweight.
Academic
had
heavyweight,
thick glasses. Wrote all of these books. Was counsel to some commission for a period of time.
Did you approach him? Did you talk law?
No, I'm embarrassed to talk. What am I going to say? What about Mapville, Ohio?
Was your family Matthew?